Welcome to the Heart of a Viking. These art lessons are taught by Mrs. Minto from the Cape Henlopen School District in Delaware. I hope you have fun, create imaginative works of art, and make sure you share them with someone because, after all, the visual arts are meant to be seen. Hey Cape artists, and welcome back to the Heart of a Viking. In our episodes today and in our episodes this whole week, we've been talking about food and art. And today is no exception, except today we're talking about food trucks. So I am super excited to be able to share with you a really cool technique to make a 3D little food truck that stands up on its own and can drive up to a parking spot, sell its food, and then of course drive away. So join me today as we create these really super cool food trucks. Make sure you grab your thinking cap, your art supplies, and your creativity, and zoom on over to your art creating space to join me in creating these really cool 3D food trucks. A food truck is a large vehicle equipped to cook and sell food. Some, including ice cream trucks, sell frozen or prepackaged foods. Others have onboard kitchens and prepare food from scratch, like hamburgers, french fries, and tacos. The chuck wagon, which is a cowboy's portable kitchen wagon, was invented by Charles Goodnight in 1866. He used an army surplus Studebaker wagon to create what is considered by many to be the very first food truck. Food trucks, along with portable food booths and food carts, are on the front line of street food industry that serves approximately 2.5 billion people every single day. Did you know the last Friday of June is National Eat at a Food Truck Day? That sounds like a day that I need to celebrate. In addition to that, our project today has us creating our own food truck. Let's see what we need to get started. Alrighty, Cape artists, let's see what we need for our food truck design. We're probably going to be needing an eraser. We'll need a pencil for sure. Probably some coloring tools. Doesn't matter if it's markers, crayons, colored pencils, or all three. A permanent marker for tracing. Some tape, the clear kind. We'll need a ruler or something straight that you can trace the edge of. Then we'll need a cardboard tube, a pair of scissors, and you'll need a piece of paper or a piece of cardstock. So cardstock is a thicker type of paper that would work great for this project, but if you don't have it, then paper works just as well. So whichever you have, one piece of paper, either cardstock or regular paper is fine. Okay, so start with your paper vertical. That means it's going to be up and down like mine is right now. And I'd like for you to fold the bottom to the top or the top to the bottom, whichever makes more sense for you. Then I'd like for you to make sure that the folded edge is at the top, right there. That's my folded edge and it's at the top. Next, I'm going to ask you to grab your ruler and place it up there near the fold. So just go ahead and push it up there so it's touching the fold. And then scoot it down just a little bit like mine. That's about a finger width or maybe a thumb width down from the top. Then you're going to trace that top edge with your pencil, just like that. Nice. Now we're going to start to draw the actual food truck, the truck part of it. So I'm going to use my ruler. You don't have to, but we're drawing right now the back edge. So it's a line that goes straight down from the line I just drew, almost to the bottom. But did you notice I didn't go all the way to the bottom? Now I'm going to draw a line that goes across the bottom, just like this, nice and straight. This is going to be the bottom edge of my truck. I stopped there. I forgot I had to go just a little further. I need to go just about to the edge on the right side as well. See how the left and the right are about the same. And then I'm going to move back a little on my line, kind of like right here, and draw a line that goes from my pencil line at the top to my new line I just drew. There's 2 inches left over there on the right side. Next, I'm going to retrace that bottom edge and I'm going to draw where the engine would go for my food truck. This is the front of it. And I'm going to make a line that looks like a backwards letter C right there. And now I'm going to head diagonal to that top pencil line, just like that. Excellent. Now I'm going to go back to the bottom edge, and I'm going to make the bumper. So a little curved line on the back edge and then a straight line across the bottom here. All the way to the front and that little curved line again. Now for some tires. You can free draw circles like I'm about to do right now, or if you want to get your tube out, that cardboard tube that we had, you can place it on here and trace around the edge. In hindsight, I wish I would have done that. But also notice that I left the bottom edge of my tire flat. So this is not a perfect circle. It's most of a circle, but it's not perfect. That flat bottom part will come in handy later, so try and have yours be flat at the bottom as well. Now these tires are in front of the bumper, so I'm going to erase the part of the bumper that's in the tire. Okay, now for the window and the door. So the window is going to go right here. It'll be sort of triangular shaped, straight up this edge and diagonal down the front. A little handle under the door, under the window, so we can open the door. And maybe a little headlight on the front. Great! Now we're going to outline all of this with Sharpie. Alright, so I would like for you to add 2 little extra lines we did not draw with pencil first. They're this little line on the left and this little line on the right. So now it looks like my food truck goes all the way to the top edge. Okay, so now I want you to start right at those lines you just drew and start cutting down the back side of your food truck, around the bottom, around the tires, and then up the front, and then straight up and end at that last little line that you just drew too. And make sure the whole time you're cutting through both layers of paper. Okay, so clean up, put those scraps away. We don't need those any longer. Now that line that I just touched that I had traced with Sharpie, I'm going to fold on that line, go through both layers of paper. And after I folded on that line, I'm going to go ahead and open this up. I double cut perfectly. Good job. Now I'm going to fold down on the line I just folded, because what I'm trying to create is I'm trying to create a little food truck where I have the front and the back of it. And there I do. Good. Now, if I had chosen to use cardstock instead of paper, then my little food truck would be able to stand up on its own. But since I used paper, he's going to flop and fall over until I add a special step coming up here in the end. So stick with me. Everybody's food truck will be able to stand up eventually. Just gotta stick with me. So now I'm going to copy the details I drew on the front onto the back. I'm going to draw with pencil first, just like I did in the first place, and then I'm going to go ahead and trace with Sharpie. So all I'm doing right now is copying the design of the truck onto the back of the truck as well. Okay, so now we're ready to design our food truck. This is where we get to pick what kind of food our food truck sells, come up with a really cool name for our food truck, and design what it's going to look like, the whole truck itself. So I'm working first on the side with the window. This is the side where people can walk up to it and order food from the window. So I'm designing what the window looks like, what kind of decorations are on the truck itself, and what kind of things are sitting in the window. When I'm done with this side, I'm going to sort of turn my project upside down, and I'm going to work on the back of the truck. And the back of the truck is going to have the design and the advertisement for my company, whatever my company sells, whatever my food truck sells. I can't wait to see what kind of things you come up with. So if you haven't already guessed, I am making a healthy food truck. My food truck is going to be called the Green Machine, and we're going to have all kinds of healthy and delicious food for sale. And just like before, once your design is finished, I'd love for you to outline or trace with your permanent marker. And to increase your craftsmanship, don't forget, after you trace with Sharpie, it's never a bad idea to go ahead and erase your pencil lines to clean it up before you start to add color. So you might have guessed it, your next job is to add some color to your food truck. Again, this is 100% up to you. You should think about your colors though. Think about what goes along with what you're selling. Think about what colors might attract people. Do you go up to food trucks that have dark and ominous and scary colors? Or are you more drawn to things that are bright colored? So think about that as you're thinking about the colors that you're choosing, and make sure you use good craftsmanship so that your food truck is appealing to people and they want to come and buy the food that you're offering. Okay, so we're going to switch gears a little bit here, and we're going to be turning our 2D food truck design into a 3D food truck that stands up on its own. So now is the time to put away all that coloring stuff, and we're going to be getting out our scissors, some tape, and our cardboard tube. Okay, once you have those, I'd like for you to cut your tube in half. If you want to be exact about it, grab that ruler we were using before, look at how big your tube is, and mark on the tube halfway. So mine was 4 inches, and 4 divided by 2 is 2. So I put a little mark at 2 inches. Now I'm going to flatten my tube a little bit, making it easier to cut, and I'm going to try and cut that tube right in half. Okay, I need both these pieces, and I need them to be round, so I'm squeezing them a little bit so they go from being flat back to round. Okay, now I'm going to be needing a piece of tape, actually a few of these, but one to start with that's about as long as my thumb, and I like to use thinner tape, so I'm actually going to tear it right down the center. If you don't want to do that and you just want to grab yourself a second piece of tape that's about as long as your thumb, that would work too. Okay, so now you're going to flip over your food truck with those 2 little pieces of tape hanging off your finger, and you're going to place one of your tubes on one of the wheels. See how I'm on the back of my paper and my tube is on the wheel. Now I'm going to attach my tape half to my tube and half to my piece of paper, which is the back of my little wheel for my food truck. So I'm pressing down on the paper for the tape to stick, and I'm going to attach the second one just like this as well. So halfway on the tube and halfway down on the paper. Don't forget, you can always ask an art assistant if this seems like something that's a little tricky for you. All right, now I'm going to repeat those steps. Piece of tape as long as my thumb, tear it down the center or cut it or get a second piece, whatever you feel is best. Go ahead and place this on the other tire and attach it the same way as the first one. Okay, a little bit tricky now. Now we're going to be doing those same steps again, but we're actually going to close up our food truck on top of itself. So see how I'm folding this over, sort of refreshing those folds again. And then I'm going to lay the tires from this side of my food truck on the tube, just like that. Flip the whole thing over. There we go. And now I have to get my hands up under my truck to tape the same way I taped the other side. So again, as long as my thumb, tear it in half, but now I have to sneak my hands up underneath of my truck to get that to tape inside. Again, art assistants are awesome. If this seems tricky for you, see if there's someone available to help you out. And of course, I'll do this to both tires. Okay, so that's what it's going to look like now, and now I should be able to stand it up. Yay! So no matter which way I made mine, out of cardstock or paper, we all should be able to stand ours up now that those tubes are inside supporting it. Super cool. HOB artists, don't forget to hop on over to Artsonia to upload a photograph of your piece of artwork to your art portfolio. I can't wait to see it.